Hi, I'm Katie from the Queen Stitch, and I'm teaming up with Love Crafts to teach you how to crochet a traditional granny square. We have a huge selection of tutorials from beginners to advanced available on our YouTube channel, so click subscribe today so you never miss a video. This video is for beginners and we'll be covering the chain stitch, the slip stitch, and the double crochet. We'll be using US terminology for this video. Let's get started. For this project, you will need a 7mm hook, scissors, Paintbox Simply Chunky yarn, and a measuring tape. This granny square is one color, 3 rounds, and creates a 4.5 by 4.5 inch square, or an 11.5 by 11.5 centimeter square. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a basic 3-round granny square using one color, as you can see. So the first thing first, we need to make a slip knot. You can make a slip knot however you like, but I do it this way. Take the short end, throw it over the long end, stick my finger through the loop, grab that shorter end, and pull tight. Voila. Stick your hook through the loop and pull tight. Now, the first thing we need to do is chain a circle and slip stitch to close it. Because I'm using a chunky yarn, I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When using thinner yarns, you may chain less, but for this chunky granny square, we want to chain 4. So once we have the 4 loops, we're going to insert the hook into that first loop back here, and we're going to slip stitch. So what that means is once your hook is through, you're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. And that will create a chain loop. Do you see that? So once you have your chain loop, it's really important to find out where the middle is. So you're gonna wanna squidge it, because you don't wanna work in one of the chain loops here. You wanna work in the middle, right there. So we've slip stitched. Let me get rid of that end, I don't like him. And you're gonna chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So it almost looks like a lollipop, upside down. Chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. The next thing you're gonna do is double crochet in the center of that loop. To do that, yarn over, insert your hook into the middle, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you can see that chain 3 is counting as your first double crochet, and then we've got our second double crochet. We're going to do one more double crochet by yarning over, inserting our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And then we want to create the next side of our granny square, which is another 3 double crochets. Yarn over, inserting your hook into that center loop, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now you should have what looks like half a granny square, 2 sides. The corner, again, will be chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to do 3 more double crochet. As you can see, I'm catching the end around my double crochets, but it doesn't matter if you do that. You can just leave it hanging out. We'll weave the ends in at the end. 1, 2, 3, Just crazy ball of yarn over here. Next corner is chain 2. And then we have our last group of 3 double crochets. And then to finish the first round, we chain 2, and then you want to slip stitch into the top of your chain 3. So you should have something that is recognizably a granny square. Now, when you see patterns that have granny squares and granny stitches, this is the traditional way of starting. The groups of 3DC, 3 double crochets in a row, is often referred to as granny stitches. But it's just the set of 3. So, because we're using one color for this tutorial, we're not going to cut and tie off. We're going to start the second round. So after our slip stitch, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So in this second round, we're only going to be working in the chain spaces here. So we're going to double crochet 3. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have our 3 granny stitches, and since we're at a corner, we need to chain 2. 1, 2. And then it's time for another 3 double crochet in that same space. Now we're moving to the second corner, but because we're not at a corner yet, we don't want to chain 2. So immediately, without chaining, you're gonna double crochet 3 stitches. So now, we are at a corner again. So we're gonna chain 2 and double crochet 3 stitches into the corner. So you may say, hey, I see a pattern here. And I would say, ooh, yes, you do. Every time you're at a corner in a granny square, you double crochet 3 stitches, chain 2, and double crochet 3 stitches in every corner of every round of every granny square. So we're at the next corner, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So when we come back around to our starting corner, you see here, we're only going to do a 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then 2 double crochet, because our chain 3 counts as that first double crochet. 1, 2. And just like the previous round, to finish, we're going to slip stitch into the top of that 3rd chain, and we've got our second round. So again, because we're not tying and cutting off, because we're using the same color, this round is going to be a little different. But it starts the same way, by chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go into our corner with the 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet. Yes, that does look familiar, doesn't it? Because we are at the corner of our granny square, and every corner of every round of every granny square is, you got it, the same. But here's where it gets a little different. Now, the next space we want to work in is not a corner. So all we have to do is 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. And now we are at a corner. So again, no chains yet until you do your 1, 2, 3, chain 2. For a square granny square, you will always chain 2 in the corners. If you end up granny stitching, say a triangle or other shapes, you'll have a different number of chain stitches, which will give you different kinds of corners. But a square granny square will have the chain 2 in the corner. No matter what size granny square, even if you're using lace or fingering weight yarn and a hook so small you can't see it with the naked eye. So again, we're starting our corner now. I really like granny squares because I think that they're very easy to see what you're doing. All of your stitches are worked in these big spaces. So it's even easier, I think, than doing double crochets by rows, because instead of working the top of the stitches where the holes are much smaller, you're working in these giant spaces. So we're working along the top of this round. Find that space. Don't be afraid to really mush open your work. It'll probably help relax the fiber. So we want to go in that next space with 3 double crochet. And then we've got our last corner. 3 double crochet. Chain 2. 3 double crochet. But then we have to finish the round by finding that space, and because our 3 chain counts as the first double crochet, we only need to double crochet 2. 1, 2. And then to finish, slip stitch into the top of that 3 chain. Chain 1 to secure and cut with a couple inches, and then pull through and then pull tight. So we've got our granny square, and you can check that it's the right length with your handy dandy measuring tape. Yep, it's about 4.5 on both sides. So you can squidge it a little more if you like. You can also block, but we'll get into that in a later video. So to weave in the ends, I always use my crochet hook. All you have to do is really weave it in and out of your crochet stitches to make sure it's secure. So let's bring it to the back here so you can see I've got the middle end as well. So I'm just gonna go under and over a few times. So you can see I'm just sticking my hook really wherever. Once you think that, and then pull it so once it's been wrapped through a couple times, you're gonna trim the end nicely like that. Then I wanna do the middle end as well, so I'm just gonna stick my crochet hook in and pull it in. Let's do one over here. Just weaving it in and out so I can't see it. It's nice and secure. One of the things that I also like to do is look at the front, make sure you can't see it. Give it a tug, and then snip. Voila! 3 rounds of glorious double crochet granny square. An absolute basic and really essential for the modern day crocheter. Thanks for joining me, Katie, along with Love Crafts, on how to crochet your traditional granny square. If you enjoyed yourself today, we have lots of other crochet tutorials available on our YouTube channel, so don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. Till next time.